We're looking at count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, guilty. Count 5, guilty. Those are the first 5 counts coming out of this jury, finding Donald J. Trump guilty on the first 5 felony counts. Reading the rest as we are getting it from our court reporters.
Starting with count 6.
Count 6, guilty. Count 7, guilty. Count 8, guilty. And you'll see on the screen we're tracking ahead. Count 9, guilty. Count 10, guilty. Count 11, guilty. Count 12, guilty. Count 13, guilty. Count 14, guilty. Count 16, guilty. Count 17, guilty. Count 18, guilty. Count 19, guilty. Count 20, guilty. Count 21, guilty. Count 22, guilty. Count 23, guilty. Count 24, guilty. Count 25, guilty. Count 26, guilty. Count 27, we're seeing that on the screen, guilty. Count 28, guilty. Those are the first 28 felony counts here as read by the jury. Count 29, guilty. Count 30, guilty. Count 31, guilty. Count 32, guilty. Count 33 and 34, guilty. That is Donald J. Trump, defendant in New York versus Donald Trump, found guilty on all 34 felony counts. That is the verdict here in this case.
Rachel?
By now, everyone pretty much knows Donald Trump, former President of the United States, is now convicted felon Trump. After being convicted, found guilty of 34 felony counts in the state of New York for the hush money trial. You would think a guy like me would be doing backflips with this, but I'm not. Whatever small joy I got was just that, small. Why do I say that? Because I find this whole thing in disgrace. Not the disgrace of him being convicted. Make no mistake about that. The son of a bitch got exactly what he deserved. What has been coming to him for decades. But it's a disgrace because a former president of the United States is now a felon, a convicted felon. That is a stain on this country and on the presidency, the office he wants to hold once again. Donald Trump is a convicted felon. Now, that makes me sick to my stomach because we've had crooked presidents in the past, Richard Nixon being one of the top ones. But now even Richard Nixon is being supplanted by this guy, by Donald Trump, a convicted felon. Nixon was never convicted of a crime. He resigned from office and ran like hell for the hills before the bulls got him. Donald Trump, being the arrogant bastard that he is, thought he could fight the law and win. He failed, and he lost. Big. Now, I don't expect him to serve any kind of jail time. No. Make no mistake about that. I wish he would, because quite honestly, it'll prove once and for all that he's the criminal that we know he is. Everything about him screams criminal. But I think what's making me more sicker is the reaction, the visceral reaction that we are seeing from the Republican Party, the MAGA. Over the last 24 hours, ever since this verdict was announced, we've seen stints of the MAGA, the usual suspects, the Mary Jean Taylor Greens, the Matt Gaetzes, the Ron Johnsons, the Jacksons, all of them, spreading lie after lie after lie after lie about what this verdict means. I mean, here are just some examples you're seeing on the screen. all of them expressing outrage and anger and visceral sadness over the conviction of one person. I haven't seen this kind of rage, anger, and sadness since O.J. Simpson was acquitted for murder charges in Los Angeles. See, what really bothers me about all of this is that every single one of the people who are enraged by this know that if this were anyone else but Donald Trump, every single one of these people who have posted all of this crap would be in prison by now. Not treated with kid gloves, not even given the opportunity to attend his son's high school graduation. They would be in jail. And that's one of the sick parts about this. All of them echoing Donald Trump's idiotic words about saying that this is a weaponization of the Department of Justice. Biden's trying to do this to get me out of the election. Blah, 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 yak, 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 yak. The same BS that Donald Trump pushes to the people to rile them up, to get them angry, to say anything they can in order to get Donald Trump reelected, or at the very least become Donald Trump's running mate. Guys like Dan Crenshaw, congressman from Texas, former Navy SEAL, so he claims, calling this verdict a disgraceful moment for our country. A disgraceful moment to our country? That one person was convicted of crimes he committed? A disgraceful moment for our country. You got Nancy Mace calling this a very dark day for America democracy when the law is weaponized against its own citizens. Oh, you mean the same weaponization of the law that Donald Trump was planning to do to reporters and minorities in this country while he was the president? The same weaponization of the law of Project 2025 that you Republicans are going to do to reporters, minorities, the LGBTQ, basically anyone who isn't white or men or Christian. Is that the weaponization you're talking about, Nancy? You got corrupt Matt Gaetz saying that the verdict is a corrupt result of a corrupt trial, blah, 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 yak, yak, yak. You mean the same corruption that made you into a sex trafficker, Matthew? Oh, you thought we forgot about that, didn't you? And of course you got Mike Johnson chopping at the bit trying to kiss Donald Trump's ass to save his own career. And then of course you got Mary Jean Taylor Greene, the racist bitch from Georgia, hanging the United States flag upside down. And I wish it could end there, but it just keeps getting worse. You got Nick Adams, Donald Trump's number one butt boy, calling this a kangaroo court. You must know all about kangaroos being from Australia, Nick, but I'm not making fun of that. Anyway, Nick, you're not going to be his vice president, and Donald Trump is not going to sleep with you. Sorry, brother, but you're not his type. He likes women and porn stars he probably jacks off to. You've got George Santos screaming, "I'm at a loss for words." That's a first for you, George, isn't it? Kimberly Guilfoyle screaming on her head at Newsmax saying, first of all, Kimberly, what the hell happened to you? Years ago, you used to be beautiful. I know time catches up with everyone, but damn, what in the hell happened to you? Of course, you got Elon Musk getting his little 2 cents in, calling this damaging the public's faith in America's legal system. You got Terrence K. Williams, a self-identified comic who is nothing more than a Trump whore, saying, "I can't sleep. America will never be the same again. Pray for President Trump's safety. He's up against evil." Now, it's easy to laugh at something like that, but there are some things we shouldn't be laughing about, and we need to take very, very seriously. People are still calling for civil war for Donald Trump. Civil war in this country, like tweets like these. People saying that the Constitution needs to be eliminated and install Trump as king. You got an ex-NYPD and Secret Service agent and ex-Fox News analyst Dan Bongino calling for a revolution. It's on. You have clowns like these, just this random MAGA freak, saying that he's going to tear apart the courthouse just minutes after the verdicts were released. And of course, we have to hear from the crackhead, the cokehead, I should say, Donald Trump Jr. The Democrats have succeeded in their years-long attempt to turn America into a third-world shithole. Wow. It's a shithole because your father committed the crimes and now he was held responsible and accountable for said crimes? Is that what you're bitching about, Al Jr.? Go sniff some coke, boy. And of course, Donald himself posting this just minutes after the guilty verdict was announced. My civil rights have been totally violated with this highly political, unconstitutional election interfering witch hunt! Holy! Holy! Well, I don't know where that Holly thing came from. I was on the roll, so you have to forgive me. But the thing is, every single one of these people are saying, I'm going to stand for Donald Trump. I'm going to stand by him. I'm going to vote for him. I've already heard that people have donated up to $10,000 for this son of a bitch. So every time you see a post on Twitter, Facebook, or wherever, if you speak to someone on the street, remind them that they're voting for a convicted felon who's trying to stay out of prison. The good news is that beyond this insanity of blizzard of bullshit and craziness came some sanity from the President of the United States, Joe Biden, who released this statement not too long after the verdicts were announced. Donald Trump has always mistakenly believed that he would never face the consequences for breaking the law for his own personal gain. But today's verdict does not change the fact that the American people, face a simple reality. There is still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box. Convicted felon or not, Trump will be the Republican nominee for president. And unfortunately, that reality is all too true. The sentencing for this trial for Donald Trump is on July 11th, days before the Republican Party is set to pick Donald Trump as the 2024 nominee. Make no mistake about this. They're dead set on getting Trump back into the office no matter what. And that no matter what could be stealing this election or something even more illegal, more to the point, more fatal, I should say. These people are declaring war on this country, not because it's an oppressive government, not because it's doing something wrong, like slavery or the massacre of the Native Americans, or curtailing rights from minorities. These people are wanting to go to war against America for Donald Trump. They want to go to war, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to win that war. Donald Trump was defeated, but not destroyed. The only way to destroy Donald Trump now is at the ballot box. Fight with our votes. because we have the high ground. We use the power of the ballot box. All they got is a loudmouth who screams conspiracy theories that people will listen to. The only way to stop us is to kill us. And trust me, they don't have the stomach for that, at least not yet. Fight with our votes. And one last thing before I close out this video. You are no longer the former president of the United States, Trump. As of right now, you will henceforth and be forever known as convict Donald Trump. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.